From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
I guess it doesn't matter anyway. I don't care about nothing but you. I guess it doesn't matter anyway. 'Cause I don't care about nothing. I don't care about nothing but you. No, I don't care about nothing.
It is Friday, December 27th, 2019. You're listening to the New Year's edition of the Relevant Podcast.
That's right.
It's kind of an exciting time for us. It's a time to sort of kick our heels back a little bit, and usually this is where I'd say something about my friend Chandler Strang being down there in Orlando to keep things on the rails today, as his part of his job as illustrious producer. But you know what? We're not even going to bother getting on the rails today, so I don't even know what my friend Chandler Strang
What
is
am I doing here?
But it's good to have you, Chandler. Hello.
Hey, thanks.
And up there in Loveland, Virginia, this is going to be a lot of fun today. Jesse Carey is joining us again.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the final podcast of the decade.
Oh, man.
What
Oh,
a
yeah. I
decade
guess it's 10
it's
years.
been.
Wow.
When did
I know, this is...
What year was the first official Relevant? When did this actually come on air? When did our debut land? Just like an asteroid into the ocean, killing the dinosaurs.
I think it's around 2006, 2005. I think so. I think it was around then.
Been here for a healthy part of the decade, I suppose. Then.
Oh, I mean, we've been here for the entirety of the last decade. It's, almost 2 decades now. That's a decade and a half.
One of the longer running podcasts, and we appreciate everybody who's been there for us. We're going out on a pretty good note today. We're being been excited to share this one for a long time. This one's a lot of fun. Greta Gerwig is going to be joining us to talk about her new movie, Little Women. I hope you've heard about it. Maybe you've already seen it. If not, this will give you a lot of good context. It's a pretty spoiler-free discussion, although the book's been around for about 150 years at this point. But we had a great conversation. I'm excited I had a really good time going up to talk to Greta Gerwig about this movie. We'll share a little more about that conversation in a bit here. Also, we're playing a New Year's game. It's called Gonna Take My Horse to the Auld Lang Syne. We were going to be joined this time but with Jesse, what happened here? This is the second now week in a row. This isn't accidental.
I teased this up last week. So coming out on January 7th is a new book by Corey Asbury that is called Reckless Love, and he of course is a songwriter of Reckless Love. He's sort of been on a sabbatical this year, but we talked a few weeks ago about his book, and it's a devotional. It's very good, and so I'm doing an interview about the book, but we start joking around. We start having a lot of fun because, as listeners know, he has sparked a lot of dialogue on this conversation about casual dining and the perks of casual dining restaurants. He is the holder of a Chick-fil-A black card. So just for a little context, he was playing a Chick-fil-A corporate event. And instead of an honorarium, instead of taking payment for this, he told me that he asked the good folks at Chick-fil-A's corporate headquarters if he could have a Chick-fil-A black card, which would entitle him to have free Chick-fil-A for life. All you do is show this card, you get as much Chick-fil-A as you want. We started talking about that on our podcast, and how the dream scenario for us would be to get Chandler a Chili's equivalent of that card. Sure enough,
right.
The good folks at Chili's heard this. And delivered. Not only Chandler got some Chili swag, but he also has. What color is your card, Chandler?
It's red.
Yeah, it's red, but it's made of metal, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Extremely rare,
a metallic
red metal.
It could be a one of one. It could be a one of one. So anyway, we're talking to Corey. I'm talking to Corey Asbury about his book, and I bring up the Chick-fil-A card and how it's helped us secure the Chili's card for Chandler, and he told me about some drama between him and Chick-fil-A, and how they changed the basically what he was entitled to with his black card, and it was a game changer somehow. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but this is why I wanted Corey on today. Somehow Chipotle has gotten involved in this, and Chipotle is sort of courting him with free food to try to be an exclusive club holder for them. So anyway, doing the interview with Corey, and I'm like, Corey, why don't you come on and you can co-host the show with me and Huck, a whole episode. This morning, I got an email from him, and he has strep throat. Last week, we were supposed to have Prop on the Friday show. He got sick, had to text me last minute. Corey said he was willing to power through if we really needed him to. But I told him, protect those pipes, my man. Protect those pipes.
He's got
they
one
are
thing.
too important. They are too important to churches around the country on Sunday mornings. We need those pipes to crank out some more worship tunes for us. So Corey will not be joining us, unfortunately. But in the game that we're playing, that we wrote with the intention of him playing, there is sort of a hat tip to him, right, Tyler? There's a hat tip.
Yeah, there is, and we're going to keep the hat tip, but it's not going to make a whole lot of sense without that context. So we're just going to have to. But you know what?
So there's the context.
We're calling audibles. Like I said, we're not even starting on the rails today. This was all. I'm not bothering trying to make sense out of it. There's a game. It's going to involve part of Corey's story. You, and instead of Corey, I suppose a listener, one of our listeners, is going to be calling in instead, and
that's right.
We're just going to hope for
yeah.
and they're just going to have to hope for the best. But let's hope that they have, let's say, an unusual amount of knowledge about fast casual dining chains. That I would be surprised, but you never know.
Listen, between the Popeyes chicken sandwich and Chick-fil-A getting name dropped in Kanye, it's been a big year for fast casual dining.
We all know more about fast cash than I think we thought we were going to at the outset of 2019. It's been on my radar.
I think we thought we were going to, or than we even wanted to. So,
well, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, we got Greta Gerwig coming up. We have a game coming up. We have the hot list coming up. But can I talk to you guys real quick before I don't want to belabor this because we have so much content to get to, and you had a really great conversation with Greta Gerwig, Tyler. I know we want to play pretty much it in its entirety because it actually took place at a pretty special location, right?
Yeah, we can get into that now, but the studio was nice enough to fly me up to, it was in Concord, Massachusetts, which was where Little Women obviously is set, both the book and the movie. And we had the conversation in Louisa May Alcott's old home. It's called the Orchard House now, but It's where she was raised. It's where she wrote Little Women. It's where she set Little Women in her mind. And it's where I interviewed Greta Gerwig. So lots of history between a famed interviewer talking to a beloved filmmaker to a classic novel. Really no end to just how much history has been made in this household. But you had something you wanted to get to. I don't even want to spoil it because you wrote a note here to ask you about something. I'm just going to let you go for it. It sounds like you had an interesting Christmas movie observation.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We're just coming out of Christmas, and I'm sure everyone did the exercise where they have like Christmas movies on in the background all the time. Like at all the family gatherings, they turn a Christmas movie on and on a TV, so like the kids have something to watch while the adults are kind of hanging out and catching up doing their thing. And so I was at one of these family get-togethers in the last few days, and I don't know. I'm sure you guys have seen Home Alone and Home Alone Lost in New York, the sequel, are both on Disney Plus. So they're in heavy rotation this year. And I was watching Home Alone, and I noticed, Home Alone, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, how it's when you break it down, it's pretty dark. It is basically a children's version of the Saw franchise. Kevin McAllister is Jigsaw. Like he's figuring out elaborate ways.
This is where he started. This is his origin story. This is a Saw prequel.
Yeah. The entire premise of the movie is he finds elaborate ways to humorously mortally wound two individuals. Granted, like this is the only children's home invasion film, right? So the whole construct of the movie is dark, right? And so I understand that, and we talked about. I think we talked about Janie and Ivy a couple weeks ago, and so I've watched it, but I noticed something that I don't think when I watched it as a kid, I realized that the darkest moment of the film isn't the child abandonment, isn't the home invasion, or isn't the gratuitous violence and extreme forms of physical torture. It's actually takes place in John Candy's cameo. Now, John Candy was a brilliant comedian from the era, and I watched there's a show on Netflix called Movies That Made Us, and they're like behind the scenes documentaries about movies from this era, like Die Hard and Ghostbusters and stuff. So I watched the documentary, and I saw that John Candy appeared in this film for free as a favor to John Hughes, who had just helped him land the film Uncle Buck, which was another a big comedy of the time. And so as a favor, he said he would give John Hughes 1 day on set and 1 day only And it was on the condition that John Candy would be allowed to improvise. So John Candy portrays the gentleman that gives Kevin's mom a ride from the airport in the back of like a box truck with a polka band. You guys remember the scene, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. And it's Catherine O'Hara who's plays the mom.
Catherine O'Hara, who's she's a brilliant comedic actress in her own right. She's I mean, her career is still going. She's still hilarious. She's great in all of the Christopher Guest. Yeah, and I mean, she's a scene stealer in all the Christopher Guest movies. But anyway, so they're in the back of this box truck, and I noticed a movie that is a moment that's pretty dark, where the mom asks John Candy if he's ever left a child home alone. Okay, I'm sure you guys have both seen this movie numerous times. Tyler, Chandler, do you remember what John Candy's reply is?
No.
I don't.
Neither did I, because as a child...
It was even playing in the background on Christmas 2 days ago, and I still don't know what you're talking about.
And as a child, I think I breezed right over it too, because everyone's waiting for the burglary scene. This is the darkest moment in the film, where John Candy confesses to Catherine O'Hara that he left his child in the same room with a dead body for a full day before he remembered it. And then when he went in to retrieve him, his child did not talk for 7 weeks after the incident. That's pretty messed up. Yeah. That is pretty dark. This is a children's movie. How does no one remember the scene? Chandler actually pulled a clip. I want you to play it, and I want you guys to think about how disturbing this is, that they let this into a PG movie. I mean, listen, I think it's a brilliant piece of dark comedy, but I'm a fan of like Always Sunny, which is a very dark, a show that operates in very dark humor. I was surprised to see this this clip in Home Alone, and that I'd somehow really didn't appreciate it for all these years. Chandler, why don't we play this clip for us?
Tell me, have you ever gone on vacation and left your child home?
No. But I did leave one at a funeral parlor once. Yeah, it was terrible, too. I was all distraught and everything, the wife and I. We left the little tyke there in the funeral parlor all day. All day. We went back at night when we came to our senses, and there he was. Apparently he was there alone all day with a corpse. He was okay, after 6-7 weeks. I came around, started talking again. Wow. But he's okay. They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this.
It's like, how did I miss the comedic brilliance and the true darkness of that scene? It was like, Tyler, I know you hate for some reason the show Modern Family, which I think is a brilliantly written sitcom. But there's a line in there that occasionally they'll dip their toe in pretty dark waters. There's a scene in there where Phil is talking, Chandler, I know you're a fan of Modern Family, at least the early seasons. You've seen a lot, right?
Yep.
So one of the ongoing jokes is Cam, one of the members of the family, is also a clown. He also dresses up as a clown and does parties. And Phil, the father, is terrified of clowns. And there's a great, they do sort of like the Office style, someone looking at the camera, sort of like reality show confessionals. And Phil says, I don't know why I've always been afraid of clowns. Maybe it's from that time I found a dead clown in the woods when I was a kid. And it's like, that is messed up, but it's a good joke. And I just appreciated that Home Alone was able to put some dark humor in there for us.
I like that they were able to go, because that felt like a very Christopher Guest interaction in both of those. John Candy, I don't think I ever did any Guest movies that I can remember off the top of my head. But it feels still, I think he came up through that Second City, like that improv scene in Chicago, that obviously that like era, that brand of filmmaking that I really miss. I could use another one sometime soon because it's a good line. And also I think that at what point would you, I'm not me and Chandler are not fathers yet. Or at least that we know of in Chandler's case. But Jesse, you have some kids. How many days before you call in a professional, Jesse? Like day one, well, the kid was in a funeral home all day. That's to be expected. It'd be weird if he was already talking about it. Kids are resilient.
I'm with John Candy. I'm with John Candy. Kids are resilient. He'll speak again. Hey, hat tip to the late great John Candy for giving us some dark laughs buried in an already exceedingly dark movie that's available.
Very dark,
on Disney.
the darkest moment in a movie in which a person steps barefoot on a nail is still John Candy just riffing, just coming up with stuff off the top of his head.
I literally watched a grown man receive third-degree burns directly to the top of his scalp, and this is somehow a darker moment than that. So,
It doesn't compare with this improv, or really any improv moment, probably. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, the hot list.
Straight back to you. I know where you live. I used to live there too. Pressure to feel fine after the fact. Out on the dance floor with my body back. Meeting a stranger, touching his face. I don't want anyone to ever take your place.
You're listening to Pressure to Party by Julia Jacklin. It's kind of how I feel about New Year's Eve sometimes. It's a lot of pressure to party.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of pressure.
Sometimes I'm just not feeling it. Beginning of the podcast, you heard Kids by Pup. All right, time for our weekly look back at some of the faith and culture stories that came across our desks this week. It's time for...
It's the hot list. The hot list. It's sizzling.
Number 5, the last Kanye West story of the decade for us. Kanye's Sunday Service Choir dropped a new album on Christmas Day. Okay, so back in October, when Kanye West told Zane Lowe in an interview that he was planning on dropping an album on Christmas Day called Jesus is Born, we were right to be skeptical. Kanye has said many times that he's going to do something that doesn't end up happening. The due date for a lot of these albums has come and gone without an album, but this time he made good on the promise. The album wasn't exactly what we were expecting, though. Jesus is Born is officially credited to the Sunday Service Choir, the gospel music group that has been a fixture of Kanye's weekly music and preaching services that have taken place at everywhere from Coachella to Joel Osteen's megachurch. The record is a collection of spiritual tunes and even remixes of past singles like Ultralight Beam, except the focus here isn't on Kanye's raps or the beats. It's the vocal power of the Sunday Service Choir. Here's a clip of Ultralight Beams.
We're on an ultralight beam. We're on an ultralight beam. This is a God dream. This is a God dream. This is everything. This is everything. We're stepping out.
So, guys, I want to spend too much time on this because Lord knows this decade we spent enough time on this podcast talking about Kanye. But I really do like this album. It's so different than Jesus is King. Really impressed by the Sunday Service Choir and just the power of the vocals and the power of these songs. Real quick, Huck, did you dig the album?
I actually did. And, I've been pretty, I've been not like a super on board with this latest iteration of Kanye myself, but this I did find, and I like the Sunday Service Choir a lot. Really, really gifted group of people that have come around this project and the Jesus is King project. And I think that their talent here is just undeniable. I thought this was, I did not have super high hopes for this. And I was really surprised in a really good way by how good the album was. I was a fan of it. I think it's super cool that this is good. And I hope that wherever, Kanye's, he's a chameleon. He's going to be reinventing himself probably until he moves on, until we're all dead. But I hope that whatever else happens, this choir can stay together and keep making interesting projects, because they could continue this really interesting gospel music boom that we've seen over the last year or so.
Yeah. Chandler, did you give it a spin yet?
I haven't. No. At this point, I don't really care about what Kanye's doing. Unfortunately, I'm just kind of burned out on it.
But he hardly does anything that we talk about or newsworthy lately.
Yeah. I mean, I know about this because of Daily yesterday, I think it was, and I haven't checked it out since.
As somebody who is also not super interested in what Kanye is doing these days, I would still suggest you maybe just far be it from me. Taste is subjective, but I would still, sure. I gave it a spin more so out of like morbid curiosity than actual interest in it. And I ended up being glad that I did.
Awesome. Well, I'll do it.
It's very good.
I'd give it that far. Coming number 4 this week, for the first time, a Jesus movie is being made in sign language. This is cool. It was interesting to see the story come across, and I'll be interested to see where it goes. So Deaf Missions is a global outreach organization that ministers to the deaf, and they're poised to make history by producing the first movie about Jesus' life and death filmed in American Sign Language, or ASL. The organization has already produced a short pilot of the movie called Uncondemned. You can watch that for free. We got a link over at relevantmagazine.com. While movies about the life of Christ have long been available with closed captions, of course, this new movie seeks to reach deaf audiences in what translators call a heart language. Deaf Missions' Chad Ettinger signed through an interpreter for Missions Network News that, quote, the heart language, it's related to a person's identity. For a person to see something in their heart language, that will really capture their heart. And that person will feel like, oh my goodness, they're actually communicating to me. This is my language. Ettinger signs that many deaf feel alienated by churches and ministries that unintentionally communicate the idea that God is primarily for people who can hear. He signs, this movie translation challenges that concept and is an investment in deaf ministry and discipleship. It also communicates to the deaf community that they matter to not just Christians, but to God. Deaf Missions Film is in the fundraising process. You can contribute to the project at relevantmagazine.com. The organization is also asking people to pray that God will use the project to reveal himself to the deaf community on a larger scale and to equip other deaf people in translation work. This is one of those things where when I read about it, it was kind of like of course that's never existed before. Like making a movie is a huge undertaking, and obviously given just the state of ableism in our country, it's not surprising that it's not one that people had felt compelled to do in sign language and in ASL yet. But it's so cool that somebody is really trying to do it. And I don't know, did you get a chance to watch that little 10-minute pilot they put together, Jesse?
I did. I was really like, I shouldn't be. I mean, but I was surprised at the production value. It was really high quality. I think the only reason I say that, I don't mean that backhanded. I mean that there's been a lot of well-intentioned projects involving pop culture, particularly in film by ministries that, the production quality doesn't quite meet maybe what the expectations of modern audiences are. But this one, I felt like the production value is good. I really like the approach. I'm excited to see how the full project pans out here.
Yeah, it was filmed maybe more artistically than it needed to be. There was definitely a creative flair to a lot of the shot choices, and it looked. They need a lot of money to do this because making a Bible movie is hard. You can't just get extras off the street. You have to get everybody. You have to get everybody in time appropriate clothing, and then obviously all of these people have to be able to communicate in sign language. What they're trying to do is a very, very difficult thing, and I'm impressed that they're trying to do it with a lot of excellence as well. I hope this does well, and I hope that we can continue. The more we hear about it, the more we'll share about it, because I'd like word for this to get out and for them to have the support they need to make this happen.
Yeah, it's a very cool project. Yeah, definitely people should go to the site and check out that clip, because I think they'll be very, very impressed.
Yeah, for sure. So number 3 this week, this is I'll need your help a little bit on this one. I'm gonna need to phone.
I've been waiting for this one.
Okay, because this is gonna be we're outside of my lane and we're moving into yours here. All right. Okay, so number 3 this week, Lamar Jackson opens up about how God keeps him humble. So recently, Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was fielding questions from an adoring crowd of reporters, clearly enjoying the opportunity to interview one of 2019's breakout NFL stars. Hot on the heels of him being selected for the Pro Bowl, one reporter asked Jackson just what keeps him humble. And his answer, the Lord. He told reporters, I give him all the praise, the glory, the honor. I could have been doing anything, It's crazy. I've been talking to him about it, just saying, I appreciate you. I thank you. The quarterback has had an MVP season, becoming the first player in NFL history to throw for at least 3,000 yards and rush for at least 1,000 yards in the same season. Here's a clip of his full comments.
I give him all his praise, the glory, the honor, because without him, I could have been doing anything, Like, it's crazy, I be thinking about it, talking to him throughout the day, like, man, appreciate you, I thank you. Because you feel like you're bigger than the Lord, that's when all that success, it go away. You got to let him know, like, he the reason like you having that much success. So I appreciate that from him. And I got my family around me, my teammates, great teammates, coaching staff. We just got to keep it going and let the Lord know he's number one.
Well, first off, I love Lamar Jackson because he is a human video game. He is a human video game. Like when you watch him play, he's so elusive in the pocket. He's faster than everybody on the field. He's got a gigantic arm. He's incredibly accurate. He's the way he reads a defense and can just pick people apart. You know, statistically, what he's done this season, really bears out this, kind of just unheard of talent that, I mean, the NFL has never seen someone do what he's done this year. But I also like how casually he talks about his relationship, his faith, because I feel like a lot of times you hear athletes saying something along the same lines of, "Oh, I want to thank God first and foremost," right. Like, and that's a good thing. Like, I'm not trying to disparage that, but the way that he articulates his relationship with God, where he is, makes it sound like he's in this constant prayerful conversation with God, where, throughout the day saying, "Lord, I appreciate you. Lord, help me keep the," like that sort of casual prayer, I think is really encouraging, especially from someone with a big platform as he has. Oh, yeah. And for as good as he is, he seems pretty genuinely humble about the success he's had.
I think it's exactly what you're saying, because I'm familiar enough with it. Everybody knows that my interest and my familiarity with professional sports is it's on the lower end of the scale, I suppose, on the spectrum of these things. But the cliche, if we wanted to, we could post a video every day of an NFL player talking about God on the field, or pointing upwards, or leading to prayer, or something like that. We see a lot of these things, right, just while we're looking around for news stories. But something about this one really did catch me off guard, and I think it was that line. I've been talking to him about it, which suggests just such a familiar, ongoing conversation with God that is almost inspiring to hear somebody talk about it like that, instead of saying, "Oh, I was in prayer just last Sunday saying these things." So, like, this feels more like that's the kind of prayer life I'd like to have.
Yeah, and you see it from the other side too, where Lamar Jackson, I don't feel like, is someone who is like sort of, and this isn't like a dig on him in any way, but like the way he talks about himself, the way he carries himself, it's not like, oh, this is the guy who's marketing himself as the Christian athlete, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it seems more naturally infused into his idea.
Unlike a Tebow maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, and look, I mean, to each his own, and you want to encourage people to live out their faith in the ways that they think God calls them to. But this seems to be such just a natural part of who he is, that I think it's encouraging and very cool. Plus, he's Lamar Jackson. He is killing it this year. I know we don't want to spend too much time on sports, but if people watch one football game this coming up, well, probably not this week, I'm imagining the Ravens will sit him because they've already locked up the number one seed in their division. But if you're watching a playoff game, make sure to give Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens a chance. It is an exciting product they put out every week.
That's super cool. Coming in at number 2 this week, we got our first look at Jennifer Hudson as Aretha Franklin. Okay, I'm excited about this. So before she died, Aretha personally picked Hudson to portray her in a biopic. It's going to be called Respect. This week, a teaser dropped showing Hudson looking an awful lot like the R&B legend. According to the official description, Faith will play a major role in the film. It says, following the rise of Aretha Franklin's career from a child singing in her father's church choir to her international superstardom, Respect is the remarkable true story of the music icon's journey to find her voice. The movie drops next fall. This is an interesting one. I've talked about this before. Music biopics are kind of a tough one for me because they all feel so much, they follow such a predictable pattern of they're the unlikely rise, and then the struggle with drugs and alcohol and the temptations of stardom, and then you're worried they may not make it, but they do make it. It's just not. I'm just kind of tired of that framework for this. Aretha doesn't have that story though. Aretha feels like a really interesting subject for something like this because she's really, really singular, and she's as timeless as they come. with something like this. And the story provides just a different perspective on how stardom can operate and what kind of people can become famous, because Aretha doesn't really fit any sort of mold.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one too, because I do feel like just to reiterate kind of your point, a lot of the music biopics that we've had that have kind of broken out, and we've seen a couple this year that fit the mold, are like the traditional decadent rock stars. Like that's the mood. You know, this year alone we had Rocket. Yeah, we had Rocket Man and, or I guess it was last year. What was the Freddie Mercury one called?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, of course. You know, where it is, or same thing with, to a degree, like a Walk the Line or something, where it does follow that sort of just rock star arc, where Aretha Franklin, yeah, her story is unique. And I'm glad they're making, you know, faith a part of it, you know, because her background in the church not only affected her career and her artistry, I feel like she brought that, you know, gospel was such a big part of her sound. It really affected culture, her upbringing in the church. And so I'm really excited to see the final product of this movie. But Jennifer Hudson looks and sounds a lot like her in that trailer that we posted on the site.
That was really, I see why Aretha would have wanted somebody like Jennifer Hudson to do it, because she has obviously the talent, but also just kind of looks she has the right look for it. I'm excited for this movie. I hope it ends up doing it ends up doing justice to somebody who I know is really important to a lot of people, really important to me too. I was really, when Aretha passed away, that was a hard one for me. It was hard to see her go.
Yeah, she's just a pure legend.
And number one this week, singer-songwriter Damien Gerardo and comedian Nick Thune are going on tour this month. So this is going to be interesting. This tour is called Sad Music, Sad Comedy. It kicks off January 15th in Philadelphia. This year, Gerardo released his latest album, In the Shape of a Storm. Both artists have had an interesting and at times complicated relationship with faith. Gerardo has long been one of indie music's most prolific singer-songwriters, while Thune's upbringing in the church has been part of his stand-up routine. He also developed an NBC sitcom pilot. It's called Holy Star T, SH Star T, about a small church that is
Holy bleep, yeah.
About a small church that is attempting to not get taken over by a large mega church. This week, Thune was a guest on Pete Holmes' podcast, You Made It Weird, and talked about how he personally got religious talk banned from The Tonight Show. Here's a clip.
The Tonight Show can't talk about religion now because of one of my sets.
What do you mean?
I did a set where I was a youth pastor, and
you pretended to be a youth pastor?
Yes. And I'm like doing a character. Like I could be, like, I'm just saying I could be the most successful youth pastor. Just look at me. Like this would be, it's easy. That's basic. It's, you know, whatever. And then I do like a prayer where I say, you know, let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for these noodles. Ramen. And I go into my and it's
that should be banned.
God,
that should be banned.
And I go into this
That is joke of the century. Thank you for these noodles, ramen.
It's so dumb.
It is.
It's great though. It's great when it's delivered sincerely. I think
it feels like there's candy in my mouth. It gave me like
a terrible
the parts of my
Werther's
mouth that light up when I eat toffee lit up when I heard that joke.
And I find a lot of humor in Jesus. And still, like, I just wrote a joke where I say, I come from a long line of dads, unlike Jesus.
Hilarious.
Who came from one mom. And, you know, unless we're all wrong here. But it's just funny to play with that kind of stuff.
Of course.
And so the Tonight Show, I did this whole thing, and then the next day they got letter upon letter from the Christian Defamation League.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nick Thune, Damien Gerardo going on tour. I like both of them. This interview with Nick Thune. Tyler, I want to get your thoughts on Damien Gerardo, because I know you probably like a lot of people our age probably grew up with you know, his albums in the rotation. But this whole conversation between Nick Thune and Pete Holmes, if you listen to this week's You Made It Weird podcast, they talked a lot about Nick Thune's issues with kind of modern, basically like the Preachers and Sneakers gang. He seemed to be continually referencing a sermon by Judah Smith, which has made it into his comedy routine and actually was a big subject of the set that he did on his controversial Tonight Show set. It was, it seemed to be aimed at Judah Smith, who he doesn't name by name, but drops enough hints that it's him. But it was interesting because in the conversation, like one of Thune's beefs and one of the subjects of his comedy is when pastors make what he sees as overly simplistic metaphors for a spiritual issue with some sort of sometimes funny life anecdote, right? So Nick Thune particularly harps on this one sermon anecdote delivered by one of the Sneakers and Preachers, Preachers and Sneakers kind of crew that started with the pastor talking about how one time he got lost in a grocery store when he was a 2-year-old child. And then he relates to the audience, have any of you ever felt lost? And remember, what that feeling's like. Uh-huh. In Thune's opinion, that metaphor is overly simplistic. And, he kind of goes on this riff about doing overly simplistic metaphors, which is funny. But Pete Holmes' counterpoint, which I think people should go listen to, is that, look, Jesus talked about a lost coin, a lost sheep. It doesn't get much more simplistic than that when discussing a pretty deep theological issue. It seemed that they had a pretty spirited debate. I don't even call it a debate, but a conversation where Thune definitely seems to have a degree of cynicism about faith and his upbringing in the church, where Pete Holmes, I feel like, is the opposite of cynical. And I feel like that's what made Crashing, his HBO show, so good. And, Pete's been on the pod, talked about this a couple of times, where it's not a cynical look. It's a look at someone genuinely wrestling with complicated spiritual ideas, not cynically wrestling. Is that your takeaway from Crashing and sort of Pete Holmes' approach to the faith as opposed to Thune's, Tyler?
Yeah, I think Pete Holmes strikes me as somebody who kind of went through the cynical phase and came out on the other side of it. And does that make sense? Like, I feel like I think you have to. I think there's to be where he's at right now takes probably processing a certain amount of hurt or disillusionment with what you were raised in. And he does seem like he's at a place now where he's trying to rebuild something. It may not look the same way that he was raised in. It certainly doesn't look like what a lot of our faith structures or systematic theologies might look like, who are on this podcast, listen to this podcast. But he's trying to make something, and he seems like he has genuinely some very fond memories of all of that. And he's been very careful to try to throw out the things that he doesn't find useful and maintain the things that he does. And I think there's value to anybody doing that. And that's always going to create a lot of friction and tension, and probably going to look very different for different people, and people of good conscience can disagree on where they end up at. But I really admire his comedy about faith and religion. Is definitely the funniest and truest that I've found in the mainstream, like in from any sort of mainstream platform.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like youth pastor comedy's kind of having a moment. Between
the material is endless.
Yeah, exactly. But between like Nick Thune, who has a youth pastor bit, Pete Holmes, who also has youth pastor bits, and before all of the sexual misconduct allegations, like even someone like Christ, John Christ, bringing this sort of and to a degree, Nate Bargatze,
Bargatze's done stuff with
the pastor stuff. He talks about it openly in interviews, and so it is funny that is all sort of having
on HBO.
Exactly. Adam Devine.
Well, almost everybody, the overwhelming majority of people in this country have familiarity with that culture. That people were raised, at the very least, raised in it, if they're not still steeped in it. So I think that you're working with a pretty large shared vocabulary when you start talking about that kind of stuff. And it's not surprising that that places like HBO have smelled the market.
And I would be interested in catching this tour, the Sad Music, Sad Comedy tour.
too.
I listened to a lot of Damon Gerardo growing up, and I know throughout the years he's been in the magazine numerous times. Just a great singer-songwriter that is very open about his ideas about faith. And Nick Thune, I think he probably has a little bit more of a conflicted relationship than a lot of people with his own faith and his own background in the church. But it definitely, it's interesting to see two individuals who have a history and kind of own that history and make it a part of their work and material. I think is cool. And so, yeah, that's one that I'd be interested in checking out. It kicks off in, January 15th. So, kind of a niche hot list item to end on, but I felt like it was, I hope we get a chance to see it. That'd be super cool. Yeah. And that'll do it for this week's.
It's the hot list, the hot list. It's sizzling.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Greta Gerwig joins us.
Every time. If we pop up in your city, we gon' shut it down. I gotta rep the squad even if I'm out of town. My circle extra small, yeah, we don't play around. You know how we do it every time. Every time, yeah, we are not the same, it's a disconnect. These rappers buying chains with chains around their neck. I do it for the people who got nothing left. And if I did it for the money, I would probably quit.
You're listening to Every Time by the social club Misfits. Okay, so Greta Gerwig is the writer and director of the new big screen adaptation of the classic novel Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, which is already being hailed as one of the best films of the year. I recently traveled out to Boston to talk with Gerwig about the film, why the story holds up so well in 2019. We get to talk to a lot of really cool people as part of this show. It's one of the perks of this job, and I always look forward to the many guests who've been so gracious with their time and with their thoughtfulness and their wisdom. But this one, there was something special about this one. I really do admire what Greta Gerwig has done for the film industry, and the movies that she's made are really important. So this was a special one for me. We're going to play, I think, most of the interview. You'll be able to hear the conversation in its entirety. Here is our conversation with Greta Gerwig. Going way, way back, I would imagine. Do you remember the first time you read the book?
I don't actually remember the first time I read the book because it was read to me. And it's like I don't really have a memory. I always knew who Jo March was. I never learned who she was. I don't remember it. I always use the comparison of the Beatles. I don't know when I heard a Beatles song. I've always known the words to I Want to Hold Your Hand. I don't know when I learned them. And that's kind of how it felt to me about the March family. So it's been part of my interior landscape as a person for as long as I can remember. And I feel very connected to the material, but on a level that I don't know that I would be a writer or a director or a filmer for. Little Women. Yeah, because Jo March was the first heroine who I encountered who wanted something big and wild and ambitious. And I think it answered the thing in me that wanted something big and wild and ambitious. And it gave it a form and a shape and a personage. And I think I went for it because she did.
So in a way, Jo kind of gave you permission to like feel the things that, like, what you're feeling is okay. It's not weird.
Yeah, and also that someone had felt it before. Yeah. You know, that you weren't the first girl who had that kind of fire.
From the time where you heard it read to you to going back to it when you started writing, does your perspective on it change, or how does it change reading it now as a grown-up?
Definitely my perspective on it changes. I think that when I read it again, and I hadn't read it since I was 14 probably, and then I read it at 30, and it was just shockingly modern and shockingly messy and complicated in this way that I felt like I hadn't really remembered. And I thought that it, in particular, obviously when I was an adult, suddenly I was reading this section when they're an adult, when they're adults with completely new eyes. And the book was originally published in 2 parts. The first one is the girlhood, roughly, but it's a 1861 to 1862, Christmas to Christmas. And it's what I think people think of when they think of Little Women. And then the next book is published several years later in their lives. And it's about marriage and family and death and art and money. And it's all this stuff of life. And what I found was fascinating was this idea of how do we honor this younger self? How do we move forward? How do we recapture what's gone while still moving forward? And I found it quite touching, this grown up magical childhood.
And I would guess in that sense that creates an interesting challenge in terms of, am I making this movie for 14-year-old Greta, or am I making it for me now?
I was making it for both, ideally. I felt like what I wanted to do was to deliver on the pleasures of Little Women, the thing that we think of, the coziness, the reading the letter by the fire. And I wanted to twist that and subvert it and to change it somehow. And so that dual purpose ran through everything. And it wasn't ever to be ironic. It was to sincerely do the thing that we love and then also show it from another angle. So in that way, I felt very much like it was a cubist endeavor. Like I was trying to look at an object from several different angles at once. And so in that way, it's both 14-year-old me and 36-year-old me at the same time looking at this.
When you do something like what you did with the script, is there any concern? It seems like a very brave thing to do, I would think, because this book has a lot of fans, and there are people who are going to be very resistant to the idea of seeing something. And it's not like this isn't a gritty remake, but it's it's definitely subversive.
Sure. Well, the thing that I did that made me feel secure was I went back to the book as the primary text, and I really tried to take the language of the book and the language that Louisa May Alcott used and tried to change as little of it as possible. And I also used, to build the script, her letters, her diaries, her other books and her other articles, as well as letters from her family and diaries from her family. I wanted everything in the book, in the script to be footnotable. I wanted every moment to have a corresponding reference that I could say, this is why this is here. So I felt as long as I was grounding what I was doing in fidelity to the source material, I wouldn't go wrong, because I would be respecting what that core of it was, which are the words that Louisa May Alcott wrote. So really, to me, that was the source of it.
Do you feel like in adapting this, I was speaking with another novelist lately who had been approached about getting her work adapted, and she had said no because she didn't think it was adaptable. Did you ever come across any challenges where you're like, I want to tell this part of the story, but I don't know how to I don't know how to put this on film?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Well, I think, when adapting something for a film, I think you always want to be very specific about what your project is, because it's not just that you're trying to transmit the story. That's not, if that's what it is, you could read the Wikipedia page. It's not just story transmission. It's a spirit. It's an energy. And to me, it was this woman ahead of her time, revolutionary energy that caused the viewer, the reader, to look back on themselves and become inspired. I mean, that's the thing that I was looking for. I was looking for the thing that had inspired women for 150 years, that whether it was Simone de Beauvoir or Patti Smith or Elena Ferrante or Gloria Steinem or J.K. Rowling, the thing that made them say, Jo March is my girl, which was true for all those disparate women in different places. I was like, what is the essence of that those women felt spurred on by, and those luminaries of 20th, 21st century. And so keeping to that feeling in the middle of it, so that I'm not just distilling plot. is a big part of it. But yeah, certainly there's always passages, because I love this book, and I love the words, and I love the way she constructs imagery and ideas. And there's whole passages that just aren't either dialogue, and they aren't action, they're just digressions. And it's always pains me that I can't put the entire piece of text in. But I try to get as much of the feeling from those digressions as I can into the film. So I always try to figure out, well, how do I let this inform the way these lines are said?
Yeah. That was Greta Gerwig. I really do encourage people to go check out this movie, Little Women. Even if you guys know me, I think sort of a man's man, sort of the bad boy of the Relevant podcast. I think people would like. I like
that's generally what
everyone's familiar with that. Yeah, I'm not telling y'all anything you don't know.
Usually, when we call Tyler, he is elbow deep in red meat, just plowing through raw steak to protein up before the pod. It's exactly. I'll say this: it is disgusting. It is disgusting. We've called him on Skype numerous times, and Tyler's salt baying like a big hunk of like a big lamb leg right on the middle of his work desk. It is disgusting to see. But yeah, no, you're meat and potatoes, kind of old school.
I only eat what I can kill with my bare hands. Yeah, that's important.
That's what makes you eating lamb so much very disturbing.
Yeah, and I'm not proud of it, but it's
that you insist on it being barehanded. Yeah,
I gotta have a code. And when it comes to the movies, I like my explosions. I like it to end with I like somebody to be shouting no to the heavens with like a long drawn out no. I like the Star Wars. I like the Avengers.
Throwing glasses of scotches. Yeah, you like at least one scene where an angry male protagonist throws a glass of scotch into a roaring hearth. That's typically
where the bad guy swirls his glass of brandy and says, "We're not so different, you and I." Those are the movies. Give me those movies. Even me, I think you guys get the picture. Even me, I thought this movie was probably in my top 3 of this year. I was really, really wowed by it, and I hope that for the men out there who are like me, who are real men of the land, I hope you still give Little Women a shot, because I think you will be rewarded for it. It's a really, really good experience. You can read our review of it on relevantmagazine.com if you're so inclined. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, playing a game.
Resurrected from the basement. I'm at capacity, I'm spilling out of me. It's got nothing to do with me.
There are over 1 million children trapped in the darkness of sexual slavery. Destiny Rescue is a Christian-based organization dedicated to rescuing these kids and helping them stay free. Girls like Tala, who once was a worship leader, became trapped and sold for sex. All seemed hopeless, yet she still prayed for a way out. Then one night, she was found by a Destiny Rescue agent. Our rescue agents are relentlessly seeking, finding, and rescuing brave individuals around the world through a variety of rescue tactics. We help survivors let go of traumatic past through individual aftercare plans and empower them to live out their God-given destinies. Today, Tala is going to college and getting a communications degree. She is earning a safe living and has even returned as a worship leader in her church. She has found hope, worth, and restoration in the light of Jesus Christ. You can be a light and reach the next child waiting in the darkness at destinyrescue.org.
You're listening to Capacity by Charlie Bliss. All right, we thought we would end the decade with sort of an overview of 2019. A look at the year that we just had with a game. It's going to be our friend Jesse Carey facing off against a listener. Jesse, who are you playing against?
Today we are joined by Laura. Laura, welcome to the Thunderdome.
Thank you.
Where are you calling us from, Laura?
I'm calling from Evansville, Indiana.
From where in Indiana?
Evansville, Indiana.
Oh, Evansville. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, How are things there today? Are you still coming down off of a Christmas high, or was it right back to work for you?
I took off all of Christmas, so I get to just chill at home for a little while, which is really good. And I'm thankful for that because I was sick all day on Christmas Eve, so I couldn't eat anything on Christmas Eve. So I'm glad to have more time off.
Laura, let me ask you this. I'm assuming the answer is going to be Fortnite skins or passes to the film Cats. But what was your favorite thing you got as a Christmas gift this year?
I got a sloth tea infuser.
So say that again.
It's like a little sloth that like sits on the edge of a cup.
Hold on, Laura. Explain this gift again. What did you receive?
It's a little sloth, and you put tea in it, and it sits on the edge of a cup, and so it like infuses the tea into the hot water.
Not like the animal. It's pronounced like the animal, but it's not. It doesn't diffuse actual
It's like a little silicone sloth
into your tea.
tea infuser.
Laura, this is the most specific Christmas gift I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Who bought the sloth tea diffuser for you?
My mom.
Okay.
Does your mom exclusively buy Christmas gifts out of Sky Mall? Because I'm pretty sure that's the only place you can buy an item like that.
I have no idea where she got that, but she knows I like sloths, so I think she thought I'd like it.
Laura, what's your favorite part about sloths? Like, what drew you to sloths, and how many sloth items do you have, like your tea diffuser?
Well, first of all, I really like sloths because I got to see them in the wild, and they're really cool.
Oh.
And the more I learn about them, the more hilarious they are. They like take a whole week to digest their food, and they only come down from a tree like once a week to poop. And I find that really cool. Interesting.
That does look like a pretty good life.
That's like my spirit animal right there. Yeah, I mean, the most chill existence ever. All right. Well, unfortunately, there's no sloth trivia in the game you're about to play. Tyler and Laura, you're going to be facing off with me, so it's quite the challenge. Okay. Tyler, why don't you explain the rules of this game that you've concocted for us?
I will explain the rules and then give Laura an important caveat that we discussed a little bit earlier, Jesse. So, Laura and Jesse, the game that you're going to be playing is called Gonna Take My Horse to the Auld Lang Syne. What this is we're going to be playing this game Jeopardy style. I have a list of categories for you to pick from that all involve trivia over the last year. If you win, then you will be able to pick the next category. If you do not, then the category will go on to the next person. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the categories are, and this is where the caveat comes in, and this is going to be important for you to pay attention to, Laura. The categories are movies, music, and casual dining. Laura, the reason there's a casual dining, there's a casual dining category is because our friend Corey Asbury was going to be joining us today, and he has some casual dining experience. Have you ever eaten at any sort of casual dining establishment like a Chili's or an Applebee's or anything like that?
Obviously, yes.
Okay, good. Then you are probably as prepared as Corey would have been for this.
Listen, Tyler, I think members of the sloth fan community exclusively eat at casual dining. And real quick, before we jump into the game, Laura, what is your favorite casual dining establishment?
I don't know. Maybe Applebee's or Olive Garden.
I feel that.
Applebee's.
Olive Garden.
Yeah, nope.
Olive Garden, I recently went to an Olive Garden, and those soup salad and breadsticks, that deal is no joke. I mean, you get your fill. You never leave an Olive Garden hungry. You leave feeling like a sloth. And that's what is so great about it. So I think you're well equipped for this game. So, Tyler, I want to let Laura go first here, man.
All right, Laura, you're gonna say this. So, Laura, do you want your first question for your review of the year to be from movies, music, or casual dining?
Let's do movies.
Movies. Okay. With $358.5 million worldwide, which movie set the record for the best opening for an animated movie of all time? Was it Toy Story 4, The Lion King, or Frozen 2?
I think it was Toy Story 4.
I'm sorry, the answer was Frozen 2. This was a complicated one because each of these movies set a record, and then that record was broken by the movie that came out after it this year. So all of these movies broke a record at the time, but Frozen 2, the last one to come out, did end up breaking the record. So no points on the board. Jesse, what's your category?
Sorry, Laura. Okay. I'm going straight for casual dining. You know it. Bring it.
Okay,
Partly
Jesse.
because it's close to lunchtime and I'm very hungry. But go ahead, Tyler.
Jesse. In July, Chipotle was hit with an E. coli scare, experts tied to its romaine lettuce. This was the food chain's first E. coli outbreak under the leadership of new CEO Brian Nicole, who Chipotle hired from what other food chain? Was it Chili's, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, or Panera Bread?
Okay, to be fair, E. coli outbreaks in 2019 could have been its own category because this happens to be something I know a lot about. Now, the corporate doings of casual dining chains, I'm not so familiar with. So this is a tough one for me. But I'm going to have to go. My gut is telling me right now, and it could just be because I'm hungry, and Panera Bread sounds fantastic right now. Those croutons, unbelievable. I'm going to go Panera Bread. They took the CEO of Panera Bread. Am I right?
I'm sorry. The answer was Taco Bell.
Wow.
No wonder they got E. coli. You can't forget the Taco Bell guy.
E. coli is actually a full-on ingredient in a lot of Taco Bell meals. They just put it right on the menu. It's got ground beef. We got salsa. We got some shredded lettuce, some cheese. We got that good couple flecks of E. coli bacteria to give it that good E. coli afterburn. So it makes sense now. All right, Laura, we're tied up coming into round
double
two.
O's, yeah. Laura, back to you. What's your category?
Music.
Music, okay. In April, Billie Eilish became the first person born after 2000 to have an album hit #1 spot on the Billboard. Who was the first person born after 1990 to have a top album? Was it the Jonas Brothers, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, or Ashley Simpson?
Taylor Swift.
I'm sorry. Taylor Swift was born in 1989. Just missing. The answer was Miley Cyrus.
Oh, man.
I didn't think Miley Cyrus had a top album. That's why I didn't say that. I didn't think she went that far.
Her first #1 album was actually as Hannah Montana, come to find out. Remember those days?
That's sort of a trick question there, Tyler.
I guess it was.
That was almost as tricky as throwing me an E. coli question on my first casual dining. All right, so Laura's done music and movies, two areas I feel pretty confident in. But you know what? I'm going back to casual dining. Give me the casual dining trivia.
All right.
I'm very hungry.
In 2019, Applebee's launched their new Sizzlin' Entree Specials. Rank 3 of these items from cheapest to most expensive on the Sizzlin' Entree Specials. You have...
Cheapest to most expensive.
You have the loaded sirloin steak and chicken fajita.
Okay.
The trio fajitas, which are made up of sirloin steak, chicken, and shrimp. And the sizzling cheddar and bacon chicken skillet. One more time.
I'm going,
you already know. You already got it.
I already got it. Okay. The cheapest is the bacon and cheddar skillet because bacon and cheddar, they just left over from breakfast. I'm going to go with the sirloin 2, and I'm going to go with the trio 3 because shrimp ain't cheap. Listen, that's elementary. Shrimp ain't cheap. Am I right? Am I on the board, Tyler?
You are correct. First blood. We have points on the board. Jesse Carey, you've got it. Congratulations to Jesse. You are actually on the board now. Laura, it's not over yet though. This is still anybody's game. What category do you want?
I'm going to do movies again.
You're going to go back to movies. All right. I like it.
Yeah.
In Knives Out, Chris Evans' white cable knit sweater became a viral sensation, so much so that the official Knives Out Twitter account changed its name to Chris Evans Sweater Stan account. Where was this sweater from? Was it from J. Crew, LL Bean, traditional Irish retailer Blarney Wolin Mills, or it's a mystery?
Oh, man. It's a mystery. That's my guess.
Oh, you are correct. The costume designer did not remember where she got the sweater from, and it remains a mystery to this day. We are all tied up at 1-1. You each are going to get 2 more questions.
Tyler, I think the winner should get an Applebee's fajita trio on you, or through a gift card or something.
I can't afford a
very
fajita
hungry.
trio. No, thank you. Maybe we can charge it to the relevant account.
And listen, I write a lot about pop culture. I read a lot about pop culture. I interview pop culture makers. So you know that out of the 3 categories, music, movies, and casual dining, my next selection will be casual dining. I'm in it to win it. Bring it. Give me that casual dining trivia from 2019.
Okay, here we go. In November, Chick-fil-A announced they would be reorganizing their charitable giving, redirecting funds away from Salvation Army and the FCA to the ire of many fans. Chick-fil-A will instead be donating to another homeless ministry. Which one of these is the new homeless organization Chick-fil-A is donating to? Is it...
Man, getting saucy with this one. Yeah, this is a controversial story.
Controversial question. I don't care. Bring it on. It's 2019. Is it City Gospel Mission, Hearts for the Homeless, National Alliance to End Homelessness, or Covenant House International?
I think it's Covenant House International, Tyler.
You are correct. Jesse takes the lead. It's 2-1.
I own this category, Laura. I dare you to pick a casual dining. I dare you.
I haven't done any of them so far, so I'm not going to.
All right, Laura, what do you pick?
I'm going to do music.
You're going to do music again. All right. In July, Lil Nas X's Old Town Road became the longest running #1 single of all time, surpassing the record set by Justin Bieber and Daddy Yankee's Despacito, which was tied with what hit 1995 song? Was it Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio, Waterfalls by TLC, Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men's One Sweet Day, or Fantasy by Mariah Carey?
I'm going to say Gangsta's Paradise.
I'm sorry, the answer was One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men. Jesse's got a 2-1 on you. We're going to do one more question each, so this is not over till it's like 2019. It's not over till it's over. We still got a little time.
That was a TRL era question. That was like a Carson Daly TRL era question. That was a real throwback. So, listen, I've gone this far with the casual dining. Do you have more in that category? Because if I'm given the choice, I'm going to ride or die with the category that's treated me so well.
Actually, Jesse, on the off chance that you made it this far, I did throw in one extra casual dining question. You going to ride this one all the way to the grave?
I'm going to close out the category here. Let's bring it for the win. FTW right here.
You couldn't watch television news or scour Twitter or Facebook in 2019 without spotting some mention of the Popeyes fried chicken sandwich.
That's right.
But how did that translate to marketing value? Apex Marketing Group estimated that Popeyes reaped in how much money in the equivalent media value as a result of the chicken sandwich wars? Was it $20 million, $40 million, $60 million, or $80 million?
Oh, well, everyone was, I was heavily involved in this chicken sandwich war, following it very closely. So I may be a little biased because fried chicken is one of my love languages. I think I'm going to say it was $80 million in marketing value.
I'm sorry, the answer was actually $60 million, Jesse. You retain your lead, but just by a hair. Laura, this is within striking distance, and this one actually counts for 2 points. So, if you get this one correct, you are sending Jesse home with no chicken sandwiches.
With no chicken sandwich, no trios, just an empty stomach and very, very irritable. I am not coming down from my tree for a long, long time, Laura, if you get this one right.
No bragging rights either, right?
We are out of casual dining questions, unfortunately, Laura. So you're going to be playing, this is going to be what they call an away game. Do you want a movie question or a music question?
Okay. I think I'll go back to movies.
Going to go to movies? All right.
Yes.
In 2019, Avengers Endgame ended Marvel's Infinity Saga, following the Avengers in a time-hopping adventure to collect the Infinity Stones in a mission to defeat Thanos and bring back their fallen friends. Fan-serving moments abounded, including a scene in which a surprise character proves they are worthy to pick up Thor's mystical hammer Mjolnir. How do you spell Mjolnir?
Do I get options or do I just have to do it?
I was going to, because it's 2019 and because we're running a little fast and loose today, I can provide you with some spelling options.
Okay.
If you would like them.
Can I just say, combining Spelling Bee with Avengers trivia is the nerdiest moment in this podcast history. Thanks a lot, Tyler. Literally the nerdiest moment, and maybe in the history of all podcasts, is happening right now. So congrats for being a part of this one, Laura.
Are you ready, Laura?
I guess
all
so.
Right. Option number 1, Mjolnir. Molnir. Option number 2, Mjolnir. Mjolnir. Or option number 3, MonYir.
I'm going to say option 2.
Mjolnir.
Yes.
That's your answer?
Yes.
I would be, hey, Laura, let me just say before he tells you if you got it right, I'd be embarrassed if I got this one right, just to be honest with you. This would be embarrassing to actually know the answer to. I hope you were just blindly guessing, because
it's like super messed up spelling, and that one would be the one that makes sense.
I'm afraid this is a very embarrassing way to win, because you did win and you have beaten Jesse. You're going on the reigning champ of Gonna Take My Horse to the Auld Lang Syne. Congratulations, Laura.
Thank you.
Laura, a worthy competitor. It
was a close one. And I think if Jesse had gone, I think if you just been a little more modest in your guess about the Popeyes fried chicken sandwich, Jesse, you'd be sitting on top right now. But Laura, well deserved. Congratulations on your stunning
worthy competitor.
Your stunning and deserved victory.
Laura, thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed some Applebee's today.
We'll see. I'll get there sometime.
Enjoy your tea, if nothing else. And thank you very much for joining us, Laura. I hope you have a happy New Year.
Thanks, Laura. That was fun. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Tyler,
Jesse,
thanks
you don't have to be salty about that, Jesse. We talked about Lamar Jackson for like 20 minutes.
I'm glad I lost. I'm glad. That's like losing a game of Dungeons and Dragons. It's just fine with me. I'd prefer actually to be on the losing side. I didn't know.
You wouldn't have gotten it right.
Talking about the construct of the game.
You're mad because you would have gotten it wrong, and you know you would have gotten it wrong.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah,
doesned hurt my feelings.
The Mjolnir. I see it from Thor.
Well, hey, thanks everyone.
I'm podcasting.
Complaining about something being too nerdy while you're podcasting is really like at this point we're just like we're just punching. There's no punching up or down here. It's all straight across. It's all lateral punches.
They're all spelling questions, Avengers. It's all lateral moves because we are professional podcasters.
There's no win to be had here. No win to be had here. But we do appreciate everyone listening to us in 2019 all year long. It's great to have you around. We enjoyed the games, and hey, Jesse, Chandler, Happy New Year to you guys as well. Hope you guys have a great 2020,
guys.
All right. I think with that, we will log off. Hey, many thanks to Greta Gerwig for joining us. Little Women is, of course, out now. I would encourage everybody to go check that out. While you're over on the Apple Podcast page, make sure you subscribe to The Daily. We'd love to see you join us for my daily look at the 3 big faith and culture stories that are defining the day every weekday. And with that, I think we're going to wrap it up, and we'll see you all back here in 2020. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. I'm Tyler Huckabee.
I'm Chandler String.
I'm Jesse Carey.
Have a great weekend and have a happy New Year. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
Not now, Mom. I'm podcasting.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.